All right, here we go, guys. This is for functions. Functions program. Super excited about this one. We got a new structure going into the next year, or from now until the end of the year. And in this cycle, Mondays, we're going to start off with gymnastics work on the Monday. So a lot of body weight movements. We get to kind of work on pulling, pushing, hanging, all those kinds of things. We're going to work on the Mondays is a great way to kind of just get familiar with body weight strength. We don't have anything to push around other than our body weight. And how Mondays are going to be kind of organized is that this Monday, we're going to start off with some strength work. We're looking for 3 to 5 sets done of the following. So we're going to do 10 to 30 seconds of a pull-up hang. So hanging from the bar, whether it's with our feet on the ground or on box, or if we can get our feet off the ground, that's ideal. We're working up to that. We're building some grip strength, building some overhead strength in our shoulders there. Then we're going to go into some lower body work. So we're going to work on 10 to 20 alternating Cossack squats. These are kind of lateral lunges, working on that groin strength with balance, different type of squat that we haven't really done as much, but working on lower body on this movement. And then the next movement, we got 10 to 20 seated pike single leg raises. So sitting on the ground, kind of like an L position, and we're trying to lift one leg at a time. We're going to go for 10 to 20 reps there. So when you're done that, rest is needed in between your sets, but the idea is to get about 3 to 5 sets in the 15 minutes, really trying to make it tough and kind of challenging for yourself. It's not meant to be done like a workout where you're running through it as fast as possible. It's more about try to really hold the positions properly, get into those deep kind of ranges of motion, activate those muscles, go slow so that you can get the most out of it. So this should take you somewhere between, I would say, 9 to 12 minutes to really kind of work through this one today, working through it properly. When you're done that, our workout, we're going to keep the theme of body weight. We're going 10 minutes of ring assisted pull up. So this is kind of like a pull up off the bar, but except we're going to be the best way I can describe it is like your feet are on the ground like a ring row, but instead of pulling horizontally, we're pulling vertically. So we're going upwards. So you get to use your feet, but if we can, try to use more through the arms as best as we can, but you can kind of balance that out. 5 of those, 7 shoulder taps in the plank position, and then 9 air squats. So simply just pull, push, and then we're going into some squatting after that for 10 minutes. So basically a good little body weight strength and endurance workout for that Monday. So Mondays, you're going to go forward, like I said, with body weight gymnastics, working on that as the main theme for Mondays there. Then going into our Wednesday workout. Wednesdays are going to be a little bit more interesting. We're going to focus on a different type of strength. We're going to work on isometrics. So isometrics are when we're creating force, but we're not actually moving through a range of motion. So this is kind of like a plank is an isometric where you're holding a position, but we're going to actually start doing some stuff for our upper body and our lower body and our core too as well. So first couple of weeks really in this program is just going to get used to kind of doing these and also finding out how much force you can actually create in these movements. The cool thing about these isometrics is that they're probably the safest way of training and with exerting the most amount of force. So we can really crank on these and create a lot of force with the lowest amount of risk for injury there. So another cool thing that we're going to play around with is like really trying to create some strength in some ranges that we're not really used to, or even activating certain parts of our body that we just haven't accessed quite yet through those traditional movements. So a lot of fun exploration that we're going to have today, and you'll be surprised how tough these can actually be. You don't actually need to be moving through space. All you got to do is create a really hard contraction to get really good strength results out of this. So we're going to work through that for about 15 minutes. So we're basically doing a single arm isometric on one side, then the other side for 10 to 20 seconds. Then we're going to do an isometric for the legs, and then we're going to do some isometrics for the midline as well. So for your core, your spine. After that, our workout, pretty straightforward for today. No real specific theme around these workouts, more about kind of getting some conditioning and some strength in. So we got 3 rounds for time, 10 to 10 calories on the assault bike for the guys, 8 for the ladies. then 20 med ball deadlifts, then back on the bike, and then 20 med ball push press. So we got some weightlifting with some conditioning combined today. And this is a good one in 15 minutes, trying to get a round done every 5 minutes to get it done within the time cap. So Wednesdays, like I said, is going to be really focused around that first part, isometric strength. We're going to really work on getting stronger in different positions. It'll be a fun way, again, to explore movements and create tension in different ways that we're not really used to. And like I said, kind of getting a little bit away from the traditional kind of like weightlifting or just pushing in the forward and backwards direction. We're going to add some rotations and make it fun. And you get to do these with partners too as well. So once you guys jump into the class the first week, you'll see what I mean by that. Then going into our Thursday. So I've been really focusing on kind of some midline, back, spine stuff with some of my clients. So I wanted to make Thursday kind of focused around that. So for the next kind of cycle, we're going to focus a lot on the midline. We're going to focus on different drills and ways to activate it, work on some motor control, some balance, some stability, and really creating some awareness around our body. So the midline strength portion for today, we're going to start with assessing kind of what our forward fold range of motion's like, and then also testing back extensions too as well, seeing how much extension we have through our spine. We're going to actually measure and record those results so that we can kind of measure that every week and see how we're progressing through this program. So the training that we're going to do after that, we're going to work on some eye position drills. So we're going to do some gaze stabilization with our eyes in 4 different positions. We're going to work on moving our lumbar spine, going into full lumbar circles. And then we're going to go into lateral opener stair step breathings. So we're going to basically kind of do a little side bend and really open up one side of our body and then try to breathe upwards kind of in like a stair step pattern. So really good stuff today because we're going to work on a lot of spine movements, stability. We're combining eye movements in there too as well, so that we're getting kind of the full circle of everything in that. So once we do that training, and every week as we do this, we're going to keep reassessing this forward flexion and back extension, seeing kind of how we're progressing through that. If you have some back issues going on, this is the day to be at. This is the day we're going to really hammer in on these skills. And this is what's required in terms of rehabbing, restoring, and kind of re-educating our body and how it should actually be moving in the first place. Finally, our workout, straightforward, 20-minute row. We don't have a 20-minute test in functions, and I thought I would keep it really straightforward. We did a 10-minute one last week on the bike. This one's going to be on the rower, 20 minutes, trying to get as many meters as possible. So straightforward, keep a good pace. It should be kind of like a little uncomfortable, but you can maintain for 20 minutes. And we're going to test to see how many meters you get. So definitely record that result, and you will see this again in the future at some point to retest and see where we're at with it. All right, going into Saturday. We're going to keep that theme of conditioning. I see that like you guys are getting kind of like a little bit of a grasp of your conditioning there, getting a little bit better there. So we're just going to up that cycle. We're going to build off of what we did. We're going to go into continuing to work on our breathing skill, and we're going to start to combine it with some more movement work too as well. So how do we breathe with movement instead of kind of like in static positions? Today, we're going to be working on that breathing, nasal breathing with rowing. So that's going to help us with a ton of different things. First of all, it's going to help us with pacing. When we start nasal breathing, it's going to help a lot with that. The next thing it's going to help with is posture. Okay. When we start to breathe a little better, we can start to also get into better positions and actually get the right kind of chemicals going through our body too as well. When we don't have a good balance of fuel going through our body and our brain, it's going to be harder to move. So that's the focus for those 5 rounds. We're going to row for a minute, just breathing through the nose, keeping good posture, rest 30 seconds in between. You can record your meters and kind of see where you're at with that. And then our workout, we're going 5 rounds for time. This is a pacing endurance workout. So we're going 10 dual dumbbell ground to overhead, 10 burpees, and then 10 shuttle run. You can jog, you can walk 25 feet out, 25 feet back. It's going to be 1 shuttle run. So you're doing 10 of those. And then instead of resting, we're going to hop on the assault bike and just go at a really, really easy pace, kind of like a walk through the park kind of pace. It's just easy. you're trying to catch your breath. When you're done those 2 minutes, you're going to hop back on to those dual dumbbell grounds overhead. So a lot of today is going to be around endurance, and that's the focus of Saturdays going forward. So expect to see that for this cycle there. I'm going to keep nailing in that skill of breathing and really tying it in with how we move dynamically. Last thing, exciting news. Sundays, we're going to combine the classes together. We're going to have CFW WOD and functions together. So functions, you're welcome to jump in on the 9:45 class to get that fifth workout in of the week to top it off. So there will be scaling options. The workouts will be, you'll be able to scale these. So we'll have options for both all skill levels for this one. So everyone's welcome and they're beginner friendly to come into. So in today's workout, the scaling options for the row are just a decreased row, PVC thrusters, and ring rows for today. So how it goes is we're going to row, do some thrusters and pull-ups, and then we're going to decrease the reps and then decrease it one more time before going back up again. You can do this in partners or go solo today. If you do it as solo, you're going to stop at 9. But if you are doing it in partners, you're going to go through the whole thing today. So super excited about that. Pumped to get you guys another class in for the week. And again, another good excuse to just come into the gym, get more involved with the community, get a good sweat on for your Sunday, get your Sunday started off right. So hope you guys are looking forward to this week of training, and we'll see you guys at the gym.